Well, hey, Selma community. It's that time again. I'm Dr. Avis Williams, the proud superintendent for Selma City Schools, and I've got Courtney Washington, our amazing community engagement specialist here. And this is another episode of Talk Soup. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome, Team Selma. We hope that you guys are having an amazing week so far. As promised, we're going to be here dropping some updates for you, and you'll see us again later this week as well. So school is getting ready to start, and we are excited. So, Doc, What are we sharing today?
Yeah, so I want us to go over our return to excellence plan for reopening schools. And I realize that some of you have seen this maybe more than 2 or 3 times, but we just want to make sure that we're getting this information out and being overly clear and transparent in terms of what reopening actually looks like. Because one thing that you'll hear as we go through this is that the pandemic is not over. And so lots of safety precautions, but we just want to detail what our return to excellence plan looks like. I want to talk a little bit about relaunching our strategic plan, and as always, recognizing community partners and any other shout outs or updates.
Definitely. So let's go and get started. So the school year officially begins on next Monday. That is August 16th. So we pushed it back a week, and we are excited now to have welcomed back our teachers last week and welcoming back our scholars on August 16th. I'm going to say that again. We begin school again on August 16th. So your summer break is winding down, scholars. And all scholars are expected to attend school in person unless you are enrolled in Saints Virtual Academy. So you are expected to attend in person unless you have enrolled in Saints Virtual Academy. And we are still, Dr. Williams, doing registration for Saints Virtual Academy. You can go to our website and register there, and Ms. Rowden will be in contact with you this week to go ahead and get you prepared for the school year, which starts again on August 16th. And so be sure, if you're still interested in registering for Saints Virtual Academy, that you go ahead and do that. And remember, with Saints Virtual Academy, or SVA as we say, you still have access to your clubs and organizations. So you can still participate in the band or cheerleading, or you can join the choir. So you still have the same access as our students and our scholars for in-person learning.
Yep, and that's for grades 6 through 12, Saints Virtual Academy. So let's definitely check that out on our website, social media, and get registered if you're interested. Now, another thing that we want to really focus on and emphasize is vaccination. COVID-19 vaccines. And it's not mandated, and we're not mandating it, but we are strongly encouraging anyone who is eligible to get the vaccine. And right now, that's anyone that's age 12 or above. We did have a vaccination clinic at Selma High School a couple of weeks ago. And just yesterday, we had the round 2 for those who got the first shot a couple of weeks ago. And we'll have more information being pushed out over the coming weeks and months about other vaccination clinics and opportunities to get vaccinated. And so that's strongly encouraged for anyone over the age of 12. And if you are vaccinated, the good thing about it is even if you have close contact with someone who might be COVID positive, you don't have to quarantine unless you have symptoms and unless you're not feeling well. But as long as you remain asymptomatic, if you're vaccinated, you do not have to quarantine. And we know for sure that vaccine is our best shot at mitigating the impact that COVID-19 has had on our community. But we will continue with some other mitigating factors and mitigating structures to make sure that we stay safe. And one of those will be continued social distancing of 3 to 6 feet where possible. And I say where possible because there may be times where we're not able to do that. But we know that there are benefits to that social distancing as it relates to making sure that we are preventing COVID as much as possible. And then also a masking requirement. You know, earlier in the year, our Board of Education did approve a policy for requiring face coverings or face masks. That policy is still in place. So anybody entering our schools, that includes our scholars, our teachers and leaders, and any visitors entering our schools or offices, a mask will be required. And so we are continuing that as we reopen schools on August 16th, the first day of school. And then we will follow all of the other Alabama Department of publications, Alabama Department of Public Health recommendations as it relates to mitigating and as it relates to quarantining and that sort of thing. So,
Right.
you know, and if you've got some specific questions about what's happening at your school, as always, your child's school is going to be the place where you're going to get the best information.
Most definitely. And our for everybody that's out there tuned in right now, our mask requirement information is on our website. So if you want to read it in detail, please visit www.selmacityschools.org for our mask mandate. We are continuing to be dope. That's us doing our part every day, both as a school district as well as individually. So we still want to encourage everybody to practice frequent hand washing and respiratory etiquette. And for me, that's, you know, the dab or covering your mouth, or staying home if you are sick. That gets into self-care, but others care, if I can make up a word. All students and staff who have symptoms of COVID should remain at home and be referred to their healthcare provider for testing and care. So again, if parents, if you're sick, if your scholar is sick, it's urgent that we adhere to it. I know if you were growing up in my household, saying you were sick was not always an excuse to be able to stay home from school. But, you know, now the light is different. And if we're sick, you know, let's stay at home. It's about others as well as ourselves.
Yeah. And, you know, that's really important. That's one thing that really hasn't changed. If you're not feeling well, then you need to stay home so that you can take care of yourself. Now, at the schools, in addition to having those expectations for, you know, personal safety and wellness in terms of the hygiene and washing hands, we are going to have routine, extensive cleaning taking place. And this is our restrooms, our common areas, and all of that. And at this time, we don't have any restrictions on our extracurricular or athletic activities. And you may recall that last year we had a lot of restrictions for football and basketball. Now, that's not to say that may not happen, but what our coaching staff will continue to do is to stay in contact with the Alabama High School Athletic Association and making sure that we follow those guidelines. But right now, we are looking forward to having sports and extracurricular activities, but doing them safely. And so those cleaning protocols do also apply to our athletic facilities and, you know, our buses and that sort of thing. So just know that we are doing our part every day by making sure that our facilities are clean and safe and healthy on a daily basis.
Definitely. And Dr. Williams, we do still have our COVID-19 dashboard again on our website. It's there at the top of the page. It's a tab. You can click there for the most up-to-date information about the cases throughout our district. And that has been there since July of 2020. And so that will remain updated weekly as information comes in for us. And then we'll continue to partner with local health service providers such as Rural Health and Bond Regional Medical Center to provide vaccination clinics. Last year and earlier this year, we were hosting many testing clinics. So now it's about those vaccinations. Again, we want to be safe, and we're asking everybody to do their part by getting vaccinated. So we'll continue to do that for you, but we'll also remain transparent in the information that we receive through our COVID-19 dashboard on our website.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, that dashboard will be maintained and will continue to be updated, as will our guidelines continue to be updated. And what I mean by that is they may change. You know, we're going to stay in touch with the CDC as well as the Alabama Department of Public Health. And if things shift in terms of recommendations, then we will make sure that we communicate those and communicate how we will be implementing those changes. But bottom line is we know that this pandemic is not over yet. So please, 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 let's work together doing our part every day and being dope so that we can make the most of our time together in terms of being safe, being healthy, reopening schools and staying in school.
Yes. You know? I was just about to say that we don't want to have another interrupted school year.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've got a lot of work to do. And part of the work that we have to do involves our strategic plan. Right. And I'm super excited that we are relaunching our strategic plan this fall. Yeah. Now, our strategic plan is called A Framework for Excellence. And some of you may recall several years ago now, almost 4 years ago now, when I first got here, we formed a transition team. And that transition team did inform our strategic planning process. And They helped us work together to determine 4 areas for our strategic plan. Area 1 is teaching and learning. Area 2, culture, climate, and community. Area 3 is leadership, management, and governance. And area 4 is facilities and technology. And I'm super excited that we're adding an area 5. And it really fits with this discussion that we're having right now, because that area is safety and wellness. And what that means is we're prioritizing physical and emotional safety, as well as overall wellness, to include looking at self-care, nutrition, community trauma, and how we can all work together to improve overall safety and wellness in our schools and in our community. So look for more information about the relaunch of our strategic plan, to include some of the accomplishments that we've already made, as well as a strategic planning summit that will be coming up in September. Super excited about that.
Yes, so team, we just want to communicate to you that we are still being intentional about being excellence. You know, we're not saying excellent and joy. Our strategic plan is a living, breathing document that we are following to make sure that we are supporting our scholars, teachers, as well as the community, and receiving that support, and so that we all can be excellent. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for some information about our relaunch and our summit. Dr., we have a few minutes. I did post in the chat that if anybody had any questions or comments, that they could drop them there. We do actually have 2, and I wanted to go to those if we have a quick second.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Sure. So, you know, someone was asking about a summary for the virtual scholars. What we'll do, Ms. Rowden has been in communication with everybody that has registered or enrolled for Saints Virtual Academy. And if you attended the orientation, if you were late or maybe have missed something, we'll make sure that Ms. Rowden sends out that information, as well as you're able to reach out to her. And right now I have her email address is Tamitha .routing@selmacityschools.org. And I apologize, I don't have her cell phone number right here in front of me, but we do have a Saints Virtual Academy page on our website. And so you can view her contact information there. But if you attended the orientation and you had not registered for Saints Virtual Academy yet, you may not have received her summary or her feedback from the orientation. So if you attended and you did not actually register for Saints Virtual Academy, I do encourage you to go ahead and register for that, so that she can have your contact information, so that she can share with you key details, because guess what? School starts on August 16th. That is Monday, and you
right around the corner.
It is here already. And then also we had a question about special needs. Will special needs have a choice for virtual learning or a work package?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and you're going to get the best answer from that through your IEP team. You know, all of our special needs babies do have IEPs, and they have a case manager that's over that IEP. And so I would encourage any family that has some specific questions about what learning will look like for their scholar who has an IEP, to definitely reach out to your school's principal. And if you need to have a conversation or need to schedule an IEP meeting prior to school starting, then that's certainly an option, or at least at the beginning of the school year, that's certainly an option. And we're aware that, you know, needs vary from family to family and from scholar to scholar. And so we are committed to trying to work with all of our families to meet their specific needs. But for our scholars that have an IEP, you're going to get the best support and the best answers by whatever decisions are being made for that to be done through that IEP team.
Definitely. So I hope that this information has helped everyone, and especially those who just dropped those 2 comments. Thank you, Doc. So that was all that we had in the comments, those 2 questions.
All right. Well, how about some shout outs or some announcements and that sort of thing before we wrap up?
Yeah, let me go straight to the reminders. If you've been following us on social media, and definitely if you've been listening to the robocalls, you already know, but we just have to remind you again, school starts August 16th. And registration is online this year, and the registration is the same packet that you would have filled out at school. It's now online and required for all scholars. That does include pre-K, because our pre-K scholars do have to sign up for pre-K using a different website, as well as our Saints Virtual Academy scholars. You still have to fill out that online registration form. And a few weeks ago, your SNAP codes were emailed to our returning scholars to your school email. And if you were having any issues accessing that SNAP code, just go ahead and register as a new student, because we do need to get that information in as soon as possible. For the documents that you do have to upload, if you do need assistance, again, your first contact will be your school. You can take your documents and they'll help you scan them to your email, but you still have to upload those yourself. Vaccinations, not for COVID, but if 6th grade and 7th grade require vaccinations, you do have to have those in prior to school starting. And that information is on our website. So if you look under our district updates, you'll see what those 2 vaccinations are, but you can contact your school just for the specifics on that. But again, you do have to, if you're entering the 6th or the 7th grade, have that vaccination. I think it's the Tdap. And then also we are accepting transportation requests, Dr. Williams. And I just want to stress that again, that is also on our Facebook as well as our website. It is a Google link. Just go in and request that information. We do apologize if it takes us a while to get back to you, but I did hear from Mr. Peterson today that he will be sending out specific information for everybody that has requested transportation by Thursday. So be checking your email that you included on the form for direct information, including your bus number and the location of pickup, the location and time of pickup for your transportation. Our first needs are our scholars who are homeless or special needs, but also for our Knox, the former Knox Elementary scholars. You can request transportation and go ahead and get that information in. And I'll share that out again once this is over, so that can be at the top of our page. And I do have a few shout outs. So last Saturday, we participated in the Freedom Fest. Shout out to Lydia Chapman. And we had our back to school bash earlier during the first part of the Freedom Fest. And we do thank everybody for coming out and participating in that. We do have pictures on our social media if you want to check it out. But we want to say a special shout out and thank you to some of our partners that assisted with having supplies and games and whatnot at our tables for all of our schools. So Trinity Lutheran Church provided the tables for us. They were out there early setting up for us. So thank you. Tabernacle of Praise Church, thank you for your supplies. 100 Black Men Selma Incorporated, thank you for your supplies, as well as the I don't want to say the name wrong, Delta Pi Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha, and attorney Donovan McGuire, thank you for your donation. Drug Free Communities, thank you for your donation of supplies and games, as well as Trustmark Bank. Thank you so much for your donations. And thank you to everyone that assisted with making Saturday another positive light in Selma. So partnering with us allowed us to participate in something positive and reach our scholars where they are. So shout out again to Lydia and her team, as well as to our community partners that allowed us to make that happen.
Yay. And it was a lot of fun.
It was.
I definitely think that it was a great opportunity to have some positive engagement. And it was also first Saturday. So lots of opportunity to engage in arts. So just a really good time. And that event reminded me of our theme, Courtney.
Yes. You ready?
Yeah. And as we wrap up, we want to do so by reminding everyone of the theme for Team Selma, which is
we are one team,
one voice,
committed
to excellence. Yes. One team, one voice, committed to excellence. And we thank you all for being a part of that team and for supporting Team Selma. And just please stay tuned. Lots of things are happening, great things happening. And when is the first day of school again?
you know, I think I've forgotten. Is it Monday, August 16th?
Yeah. So we look forward to seeing our scholars then. We'll be back later this week with another episode of Talk Soup, though. And so if you've got any questions or anything that that you need us to address, especially around reopening schools, then please drop that in the comment box. If we didn't get to it today, then we will be happy to share more information when we have our next episode later this week.
Yes. So that's great. We'll see you again later this week, Team Selma.
All right. Until next time. Thanks.